Well, alright, friends and fellow adventurers. I'm sitting back here at the table and I'm ready to continue Fless's adventure. So, last time, before this, I did record a session and basically nothing happened in that session at all. Fless walked around a little bit, she did some talking, but there wasn't anything. It wasn't worth editing and posting, basically. So I'll just recap it real quick. All that happened was Fless returned the gold. She gave the 100 gold that she received as a reward for finding that worker. She gave all of that to Vane, technically, but to the cult itself. Ooh, bless me, sorry. She gave all the gold to Fless, and she returned Crick. Now, we know Crick is on her character sheet, so that's going to come into play again. But anyway, she returned Crick, she gave the money away, Vane thanked her, and then Fless asked Vane about possibly like a stable or something around, and she said, of course, and there actually turns out to be a stable here in this little whole block. So let me... Yeah, that's why I have the Crimson Jackal block, because I'm just considering kind of this whole area right here. They kind of control that whole block. So not only is the Crimson Jackal kind of like their headquarters, but this whole block more or less is. Anyway, so Fless met up after going and getting Lauren and bringing him to the stable. That way he has a home and he's not forgotten about. That evening, which it was already evening at that point, Fless met up with the other cult members, including York, the leader that she met as soon as she arrived in the city here. And they took her to an unknown location to induct her into their cult, to initiate her. And they did a little bit of initiating, a little bit of sacrificial scarring. You know, they did a few cuts. Fless did a few own cuts on herself. Long story short, it wasn't even a very long story. But in conclusion, Fless is now an initiated member of this cult. And then afterwards, Fless came back, and as they were kind of like exiting, it was in the middle of there was a well in the center of this block, kind of like where all the alleyways lead. In the center, there's a bit of an open courtyard-esque area. Anyway, upon exiting this well that doubles as a secret tunnel for the underground cliche cult ongoings here, Fless met a cactus leshy. What was that cactus leshy's name? That's gotta be around here. Isoga. I like that. And she happened to be the owner and proprietor of an inn that exists on this same Crimson Jackal block here, which was great news for Fless because she needed a place to sleep. So, and that's basically where we ended. That's all that happened. I wasn't going to waste your time going over all that. It was a lot of talking and no rolling, which we're going to get to rolling soon. Excuse me again, sorry. My goal on this video is no editing. I'm just going to roll with it, so me coughing, me sneezing, that's probably going to stay in there. Apologies for that, but it's real, it's raw, and it's unedited, brother. Back to Fless. I have not forgotten that she is pregnant. So, as Fless lays her head down that night after eating a quick meal in I'd say it's an inn, but they probably do a little bit of meals too. It's not necessarily also a tavern. It's not that cliche. But they do have some food there for their guests. And Fless ate her meal and she went off to bed. Now, Fless is going to be plagued by nightmares, I believe. Probably every night. And it's been going on for years. Fless is used to it by now. So, Fless indeed lays down anticipating the nightmares to come. She doesn't fear them. She revels in them. She enjoys them. She welcomes them. And sure enough, tonight is same thing. She is haunted by a lot of flashes from her past, things we don't know about. And then there is a point in which Fless is now... I've thought this in my head before, so I'm not 100% just making this up off the top of my head. But I might try to find a way to involve a dice roll in this somehow. During Fless's nightmares, she has a vision, a glimpse of kind of how she sees Lamashtu, you know, the jackal-headed mother with wings and crow's feet and her two kukris in her side. And she can see off in the distance, she sees Lamashtu. And then suddenly, Lamashtu is in front of her. And she doesn't seem angry or happy. She seems content. And as Fless is looking up at her, she feels the fiery, because Lamashtu has two kukris. One's kind of ice, one's kind of fire. They have names, I forget the names of them. Apologies. The information's out there if you're curious. Look that up. But regardless, she takes the fiery blade, and as Fless is looking in her eyes, her three eyes, because she's a three-eyed jackal, Lamashtu thrusts the fiery blade right into her stomach. And Fless's hands instantly go to her stomach. I think even while she's laying in her bed, she kind of just does this in the night. Her hands kind of clench her stomach, and she kind of doubles over. She kind of clenches up. And then Lamashtu is gone in her dream. Later in her dream, she sees Crick once again. Let's see. Is Crick in... Let's roll some dice. That's why we're here. Is Crick in any type of trouble in her dream? Let's just say that's 50-50. I don't have all my stuff in here. I'm not even prepared for this. This is kind of an impromptu session here. 31. I know that that's a yes. So Crick is in some type of trouble. What kind of trouble can we surmise? Let's go action. Yeah, it's kind of... Well, let's go description. It's some kind of descriptive trouble, I think. So we'll roll our black and white dice, and we'll get 2 words, and we will decipher from there. 28 being energetically, and 5 on the white dice, energetically beautiful. Okay, Crick's in some type of trouble. Energetically beautiful. I like this because beautiful connects to the Shalenites, which is our enemy in this current context, in this mission. It's Fless's enemy right now. So beautiful. Darn it, what was the first word? I already forgot. It was, luckily the dice is right there. 28 energetically. That's right. I knew that one. That one's not as apparent to me. That's why I forgot it. Energetically, there is a specific, some type of Shalenite. They're covered in rainbow colors, and they are chasing Crick. Let's just say that they're chasing Crick, and he's running and he's running. Now he's only got 3 legs. Actually, since this is a dream, does Crick only have 3 legs? We'll say 50-50. No. So he has all 4 legs in this dream, and she sees Crick running. Her first instinct isn't to chase after him or anything. She's evil. She does like Crick for the little bit of time she spent with him, but she sees him being chased by this beautifully colored Shalenite, and eventually the Shalenite catches up to Crick and breaks his front leg, his 4th leg. Maybe this is how it happened. Maybe this isn't. Maybe this is just a random nightmare. But Crick is in trouble, and as that's happening, and he's laying on the ground and he's crying out in pain from his broken leg, the Shalenite disappears, Crick disappears, and morning comes and Fless opens her eyes. Now again, she doesn't jump awake. She's used to this kind of thing because Lamashtu sends her visions. That's how Fless thinks of them. These nightmares they're not exactly premonitions, they're not guaranteed to come true, anything like that. But a lot of times, more times than not, Fless has seen like a reality in the dreams that she has. Nightmares, we would call them. So, Fless wakes up, kind of startled. Those things are in the back of her mind. So, her agenda today... I don't know what her agenda is today. She's got to... our main goal is to... Cool, I got it right here. So we gotta stop the Shalenites. collect the debt, I don't think is going to happen. So we can probably go ahead and backspace that one and find the worker for the bricklayer. So our only goal right now is to stop the Shalanites. All right, I'm going to throw in pregnancy on the characters list. I know it's not a specific like person, but it can still come into play in fun ways. There was one other thing I thought, oh, crick, yeah, we'll add crick. CRIC. Yeah, sure. Maybe a K? CRIC. Rick. I don't like it because it looks like the name Rick. So, crick. Alright, and our only goal is to stop the Shalanites. So that is what we are going to focus on this morning. Fless wakes up, she heads out the door, she kind of nods to Isoga, the cactus leshy female, who's just kind of like cleaning up for the day. She's sweeping, wiping off the little knickknacks and stuff in the lobby area. And Fless makes her way around the corner, down the dirty road, and up to the front of the Crimson Jackal appraisal shop, where inside, sure enough, she sees Vane sitting at the desk. Good morning, Vane. I guess she's here to just continue. She's gonna ask where York is, because she knows that York's the leader. If anybody has any information on what to do next, it's gonna be York. So she inquires, Vane, is York around this morning? Is York happens to be... I kind of see him as having his main office in, like, the floor just above here in the Crimson Jackal appraisals. That's how I see it, so that's how we're going to run it. So, is York in the building right now, like up in his office? Let's say, again, I'll say that's likely. So it gives us a 65 and less for a yes, which is a 13, which is exactly an extreme yes. So we'll just take that extreme yes. Sometimes extremes make sense, sometimes they don't. I'm gonna just take that as not only is he in, but he just came in behind us. So as Fless was asking Vane, York's kind of like standing in the doorway. He's like, "Oh, you mean me? Yes, I am in the building." And once again, welcome to our cult. That initiation went well last night. I'm glad I could attend and run that for you. But Fless, I'm assuming you are here for a reason. Please follow me upstairs. Vane, I hope you're having a good day. Oh yes, very much so, York. There's plenty to do, plenty to keep us busy today. Ah, good. Keep up the great work. If things keep going this well, there might be a little bonus in for you at the end of this quarter. And they make their way upstairs. York kind of like takes off his overcoat. I don't know what time of year it is here. I don't know what the weather's like. I haven't rolled for that. Let's do that real quick. Okay, so they get up in their office, because I kind of picture him like taking his coat off or something. But if it's summertime, that's not gonna happen. Weather system. I guess weather system doesn't help. Here, we'll roll a d12. Since the climate and the year calendar is a lot like Earth, there's 12 months in the year. So what month of the year is it? And that is 8. Okay, so it's still probably pretty warm. I think, or I know for sure, they're in the northern hemisphere. Given that it's so much like Earth, we'll say that this is kind of like getting towards the end of the summer. So it's still really hot outside. So he's not going to be taking off his coat, but it could, however, be raining, which is what this table is for. And a 7 is a light rain and breezy. So he kind of just had this little like real light cloak on that he threw on this morning. He takes it off, sets it on the coat rack. I'll have to remember that we're in kind of the later part of summer. I'll probably forget. Regardless, let's go. So, and he gets comfy in his chair, and he kind of like notions to Fless to sit down in one of the chairs opposite his desk. Fless looks at the chair and just looks back at him. He just kind of smirks because he knows, obviously, that Fless has this big rebel complex to her. He probably knew that before he even insinuated that she sit down. So Fless, I'm guessing you just want to get straight down to business, as I do too, actually. You see, this Shalenite problem is getting worse. It is not getting any better, and until we do something about it, those couple prisoners you saw, it's not even scratching the surface. You see, we've been having troubles. A few of our members and other townsfolk here in the city, they would be city folk, not town folk, right? The other citizens of the city here randomly have been being under attack. Now, the authorities in the city say that they don't know who is behind these attacks, but that is because the authorities in this city are led by Shalenites, and it is the Shalenites who are doing it. People's memories being erased, some partially, some more completely. There was one case of a man or a woman. They were unrecognizable afterwards. Not only was it a mental attack, but it was a physical one as well. But they did not even have the power of speech. They had no motor skills. They were reverted back to an infancy stage. Nothing like this has ever been seen around here before, and it's been happening a lot more recently. So, Fless, what I need you to do is, let's figure out right now what York needs Fless to do. Let's go with actions. So what York needs Fless to do is 29. Delay. Okay, this is already pretty fun. So delay 55. Misfortune. Delay misfortune. Okay, that's kind of making sense. Maybe he needs her to do something that is going to delay a misfortune that would happen to them. So this is basically a counterattack. Maybe not a counterattack, but a preventative attack. Alright. See, Fless, the Shalenites are planning something big. Now, we know, way back when I did these first couple episodes, there is a feather festival coming up in just a few days. How many days? Let's roll these 6. One day. Tomorrow. You see, tomorrow is... We have the rest of today to get this plan together before the festival tomorrow. And they are already bringing in heaps of food and supplies and for the festivities tomorrow. Feathers and beautiful flowers and things from all over. You see, this is a yearly festival in which the Shalenites revel and grow in power and their riches and their following. And we need to... Okay, I'm not even going to roll on this. There is a shipment of something. Let's say... flowers, no. Tell you what, York's not even going to be specific. He's just going to say, look, Fless, there's a lot of carts moving in and out of those gates. There's a lot of boats moving up and down the river here. They're carrying in cargo. Things are getting checked, but things are getting overlooked. Now, what I need you to do is... I need you to intercept one of these shipments. Now, is it a land shipment? If not, if it comes up a no, then it'll be on boat. So is it a land shipment? 50-50? Ooh, an 8 I think is an extreme yes. 8 is an extreme yes. So, not only is it a land shipment on an extreme yes... my brain tells me that this is a shipment of land as well, like maybe dirt or rocks or something. Okay, yep, okay, I like this. So there's a shipment of statues that are going to be coming in through one of the gates later today. Now, I need you to ride out. I heard you had a horse. This is convenient. I would have loaned you one. But since you have your own, that is less to take away from our stock. I need you to ride out and intercept this supply wagon filled with these stone statues, in which we have a little... Okay, they're gonna plant something in the shipment. Now, it's either they're gonna plant like their own like rune stone, or they're gonna carve something on one of the... Okay, let's ask, is the plan to kind of deface some of these statues? Ooh, okay, either way, it's gonna be, they're gonna deface some of these statues. Because that just makes so much sense. But I'm not even... Okay, they're gonna deface some of these statues, and they are going to mark a rune on one or a few of these. Now, what this rune is gonna do, I do not know yet. But York explains all this to Fless, and he explains what the rune needs to be, and he hands her a little piece of paper with the etchings and how exactly to etch these runes into as many of the statues as you can. And why exactly would I be doing that? A bunch of statues. Of course, I'll knock the heads off of some of them and the arms and scratch their eyes out with X's. That will be fun. But what is the point of these runes that you're asking me to inscribe? Let's see. Characters, objects, locations, no. Actions, no. Okay, I mean, what? Descriptor, action, descriptor. Let's go descriptor again. I only have 2 tables in front of me, so... descriptor. What exactly is this gonna be doing? That's gonna be 95. Threateningly stylish. Threateningly stylish. Okay. Well, Fless, you see, it's gonna be kind of a fun joke. We're not here to kill or maim or anything like that. Now, we have a couple things we do on the side, you know, like the work you did to those prisoners your first night here. That was beautiful and that was splendid in all of Lamashtu's glory. But see, there are going to be a lot of citizens here at this Feather Festival, and we're not trying to do any type of genocide, or we're not here to hurt the people. We're here to hurt the Shalenites. And what hurts the Shalenites most is taking their followers. That is going to take their power. So these runes that you're going to inscribe on, and I tell you what, now that I put more thought into this plan that I'm making up on the spot, only deface one of the statues. Find a beautiful one, maybe the biggest one that is of Shaylin herself, and maybe deface that one. Actually, don't deface any of them, because then they will know it is us. So please do the opposite of what we were just saying and resist the urge to deface these statues, because the runes you are going to mark into them are going to have a somewhat comedic effect, but a negative effect nonetheless, on anybody who walks by these statues or stands in the aura of these statues. It will change the pigment of their skin. It will it can blind. It can alter one's not mental, because that'd be what they're doing. It can alter one's perceptions, you could say, while they're around it. Okay, perfect. Fless kind of smirks and agrees. Fine, I will do so. And he gives her the location of the route that this wagon should be going on. So Fless wastes no time, and she leaves the Crimson Jackal appraisals, and she makes her way to the stable where she left Lorne, and there he is munching on some delicious hay. She kind of pets him on the snout and brushes his hair for a second, not in a like a grooming kind of way, but just a hey, I'm here buddy kind of way. Again, I don't think she would do that. I'm really bad at playing evil characters, but Fless mounts up on Lorne, and she makes her way out of the city gate and down the road to where she is going to set up an ambush for this wagon. Now, no, before she does that, we're going to reverse. Because as she comes down the stairs from talking with York, she stops briefly just to kind of like wave goodbye to Vane, who stands up, but as she does so, as Fless's foot comes off the stairs, her first foot hits the floorboards of this level. Down below her, she can hear the barking and scratching, and she kind of like starts to wave at Vane, and Vane looks over at her and then looks back the other direction to where the staircase leads downwards into the basement where Crick is kept, and she says, that's odd. Crick is normally as complacent as possible. Something must have him excited. What? And she gets up from her desk and she goes down the stairs, and Fless just kind of stops for a second. She doesn't. Okay, we'll ask that. We're here to roll. We don't know what's going to happen. So does Fless follow Vane down the stairs? I think that's very unlikely. 74. Nope, she does not. A couple minutes later, or not even a couple minutes, just a few seconds later, she hears Vane down below shout, and then she hears up the stairs running. She can hear the nails of Crick hitting the floorboards as he's booking it up, and he kind of like skids across the floorboards a little bit. He's in such a hurry, and he kind of like his butt slams into one of the tall shelves as fragile little knickknacks start to tumble down. Some ceramic, some glass, some metal. The metal ones clank as they hit, and Crick gets back on his feet and he runs straight over to Fless. And what is most important about this is as he runs towards Fless, he stops at her, and Fless kind of holds up her hands, and he sniffs her hands for a second, and then he goes in and he sniffs her belly. He, like, for a good few seconds, to the point where Fless kind of has to push him off, and by this time Vane has made it back up the stairs, and she's yelling and shouting, Crick, what are you doing, boy? You're crazy. You've never acted like this. Get back down here. And she's kind of trying to drag him, but he is fighting it tooth and nail to stay up there, and he's still trying to sniff Fless, and Fless just kind of stops her and saying, "It's like, Vane, because Fless is now remembering kind of her dream, her nightmare. Would it be okay if I brought Crick along with me today? York gave me an assignment that I need to go take care of, so would you mind? Would it be okay if I brought Crick with me?" And Vane's just nonchalant. "Oh, I mean, yes, of course. It seems that he wants to go with you anyway, so if that's okay with you, of course. All right, well, good boy, Crick, is it? Perhaps you would be of use, and it seems like you're already ready to go. I'm in a hurry, so let's get. And now Fless makes her way to Lorne, pets him, and kind of does her best to introduce Crick to Lorne in a very animal-friendly way. And Fless mounts up on Lorne and kind of looks down at Crick's like, well, you're gonna have to keep up. We got a long way to ride and not a long time to get there. So, Fless takes off. She trots through the city, and then once past the gate, she begins to spur her horse, and they ride off into the sunrise, because it is still sunrise coming up. And that is where we're gonna stop today. I forgot the name of our main character. Fless, Lorne, and Crick make their way into the sunrise down the road, where they are going to set up an ambush for this convoy, this shipment of statues. Awesome. So, thank you guys. Would you stop barking back there? Video's over anyway. Thank you guys. Have a great day.